Is Sea of Thieves worth getting and worth playing in 2025? How does it hold up? How has the previous year been? And what's to look forward to in the future? And in this video, I'm be seeing if Sea of Thieves is worth getting into as a first-time player, or if it's worth coming back to it as an old-time player to see what's to go in the future and how the previous year has been. So starting off with how Sea of Thieves is going to fare and look in 2025, this is a very interesting one. When Rare revealed their roadmap, what we're looking at is an increase in focus on game performance, security, and player safety due to the amount of hacks that have happened recently, especially on PC and game-breaking issues. The most recent patch introduced kind of various changes and fixes to the game state, and across the year they're going to try and, they've said, fix the game state and make it, how it should be in terms of playability. They're also going to try and add new treasures, server improvements, and a further investment in game security so there's no glitches in the future. This doesn't look like the most promising start for Sea of Thieves for this year. I can't lie, this isn't the best roadmap they could have done, because really for old players this will mean you shouldn't jump into it straight away yet, because it's going to be a lot of the same, especially if you've played 2025. Now, 2024 is a very poor year for Sea of Thieves, I must admit. I wasn't really a massive fan of the game, especially in recent times, the last few months. Season 11 was just quality of life and diving, effectively the voyages. Season 12, it added a new gun, it added a double barrel pistol, throwing knives, bone callers, and scatter shots, as well as the Horn of Fair Winds. So for a new player, this is very, very useful for the future, but as a returning player at the time, it didn't really help much. And Season 13 added something which is vital for everyone: Skeleton Camps and Flameheart's flagship, the Burning Blade, which is an entirely new event in the game. It was so fun, super fun to play, really good rewards, amazing. So I would really recommend playing the game just for that alone. It's honestly such a fun fight, especially with friends. And Season 14 was pretty lackluster as well, very, very buggy. But for the future, if we're looking at it from a new player's perspective, it added a lot of stealth mechanics, a harpoon gun. So Sea of Thieves can be done very, very stealthily now. So 2024 was a very poor year, I must admit, for Sea of Thieves. One thing that I do think is promising about this for a new player is that this has added a whole host of, features and content which you can dive into. As a new player, this is massive in terms of content just dropped on you if you're starting the game. So I think even though 2024 was bad, I think 2025 is a good year to get into Sea of Thieves just off that alone. So the reason I think Sea of Thieves is definitely still worth it for a new player, despite a lot of the bugs and glitches going on right now in the game, is there's just so much content that you can enjoy. So the Gold Hoarders are one of the factions in the game, which revolve around finding treasure, solving riddles, digging up chests, doing Gold Hoarder vaults, which are treasure vaults effectively, and multiple other things such as that. Order of Souls is killing skeletons and effectively claiming their skulls and selling them. Really fun concept. You can fight ghost ships, skeleton fleets. It's amazing. Really enjoy it. Merchant Alliance, again, this is one where you're kind of delivering livestock, you're selling goods, trading effectively. You're also looting lost shipments, so finding these ships that have been sunk and, finding their cargo and selling it. All of these as well, you can do skeleton fleets, ghost fleets, raid. I'll talk about all of these later, but you can do all of the kind of main events and get stuff for these, so it's really, really cool. Reaper's Bones is a PvP faction. The Hunter's Call is fishing, so fishing's amazingly fun in the game. Athena's Fortune is kind of a pirate legend, more exclusive aspect of the game, where you can get exclusive pirate legend ghostly, loot. There's also the Bilge Rats, which are the main kind of group terming all of the commendations in the game. Super fun to complete these commendations. There's so many little events I'll talk about in a bit. The trading companies are amazing. And then you can look at the encounters in the game. So things you can encounter whilst you're in the world. World events, you've got Skeleton Fort, Fort of Fortune, Skeleton Fleet, Ghost Fleet, and Ashen Winds. 5 super fun events. You get to take on an entire fort of skeletons and bosses and get loot at the end. Forts of Fortune is basically that, but harder with better bosses. Skeleton Fleet is you're out fighting these massive skeleton ships with, crewed by skeletons. And Ghost Fleet is effectively a ghostly fleet, as it says in the name, which is sunk very, which are destroyed very easily, but there's a lot more of them. And Ashen Winds is where you go to this massive kind of swirl in the sky and attack one really powerful Ashen Lord to claim his loot. There's also the Player Trigger event, which is the Fort of the Damned, a super fun event where you fight skeletons of different colours effectively, and you have to light them up based on different ways of dying. Once you get play the game, you'll understand how cool this concept is. And there's also the Legend of the Veil, where you have to take down these ancient fortifications to fight one massive boss right at the end. Now, in terms of things that can just pop up on you, you've of course got skeleton ships, which could just spawn on you, meaning you might have to be randomly sailing around and fight a skeleton ship, which pops out of nowhere. The Megalodon is obviously an amazing one with multiple types of variations, a massive shark coming to attack you. And then the Kraken, obviously, is one of the most iconic things in this game. Super fun to take out, especially at the start. Gets a bit more tedious as you play and a bit more irrelevant, but at the start, the fear is top-notch. It's really such a fun system of emergent encounters. Now, there is a lot to do in this game outside of just that. Obviously, this game is so good for messing around and playing with your friends and just having fun. Going to the tavern, messing around, shooting yourself out of cannons or your pets out of cannons. It's honestly, there's so much good stuff to do in this game. So much fun to be had with your friends or even alone. You can find people. The community is great. You can find a lot of people on Discord or on other servers. Other ways to find people to play with. It's so fun to just mess around with some friends or some random people and just have some fun. The lore of this game is also really deep and expansive. You have tall tales, so you have 18 tall tales that you can complete, and these are all story-driven events. So tall tales encompass such a massive variety of quests, and these are super fun because they involve puzzle solving, riddles, vaults, star puzzles. It's honestly incredible how much stuff this involves. It's so fun. It's a totally new part of the game. There's traps, there's everything. It's so unique, and the story is amazing behind it. So you have the Maiden Voyage, which is the first one. There's not really a story, it's just getting you into the game. You have the Shores of Gold, which are 9 original tall tales based on the lore of Sea of Thieves, Briggsea, and stuff like that. It's super fun. If you read the books about Sea of Thieves, which Rare have published, then you'll understand the lore a lot more. I would definitely recommend doing that if you get the game and get invested. The Shores of Gold hotels are amazing. The Art of the Trickster is super trap heavy, puzzle solving. It's amazing. You get to fight these legendary skeleton lords in these super hard fights. Unbelievable. Then you have the Ashen Tall Tales, and these are 2 tall tales focused around Flameheart and the revival of Flameheart, as well as Pendragon. These are super cool puzzles, so it combines everything really, actually, of the first 9. The best things, especially in the Heart of Fire. Such a good tall tale. You get great rewards from these as well, so you can get curses, skeleton curses, gold curses, you can get, cursed eyes. Super fun rewards from this, but the experience itself is amazing whilst you're playing the game. The game is, honestly, the Ashen Tall Tales are some of my favourite ever I've had in a game, really. They're just unbelievable. You have the Pirate's Life, which is, of course, the very famous one. Ones, the 5 around Captain Jack Sparrow and the Pirates Caribbean. So well done. You get taken to a whole new world in multiple of these, a whole new kind of experience. It's so good. It's so unique. The second one, the third one's personal favourites because of the world you get sent to. You get sent to the ancient kingdom, of the Sirens, which are another boss kind of enemy. You can encounter the Sirens in the game. So fun, such a cool concept, and so well executed. And then there's the Legend of Monkey Island, which is another set of 3 amazing tall tales focused on Monkey Island. You get taken to 3 new worlds, effectively. Unbelievable. I want to say tall tales are my favourite part of the game, as you can probably tell. So fun, so cool, so unique, and they take up a lot of time. They give you good rewards. They're so fun to do on your own or with friends, and they're just amazing. There's also a PvP faction, so you have the Servants of the Flame, and the Athena's Fortune, Guardians of Fortune faction, and you can effectively side with either one of them. You can change who you side with at any point, and you just basically fight other players. You go into an emergent encounter, you dive to another player, and you fight them in a one-on-one ship battle of your size, which I think is an amazing idea. Really fun at the start, can get a bit tedious, and the skill curve is very high. So if you're a new player, probably save this until you've played the game a lot, because otherwise you will lose quite a lot. That is one thing I will say about the game. The skill curve is high. They have added Safer Seas, which are a game mode effectively with no other players. I think a lot of new players should use this and practice in this, especially with the mechanics in general and in PvE, because PvP in this game is tough. It is very scaled towards old players. It is a very hard PvP system. It's got a very high power curve. Skill curve, I should say. Yeah, so learn the game, get better at it, and then get into the main game. Because PvP in this game is very, very fun once you know it, but it's very challenging at the start, and it is very unrewarding for a new player who doesn't know the mechanics, especially, if you're a solo player. So I would say that. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of bad in the game. There's so many bugs right now. There's a lot of glitches. Cheaters on PC are massive. The chat censorship's not the greatest. You might get a lot of toxicity. There is big issues in this game right now. That is one thing I will say. If you're on Xbox, it won't be as bad, honestly, because you can just go into party chat. Bugs aren't that bad, and cheaters are nowhere near as common. PC is bad. PC is bad for cheaters, bad for toxicity. You do want to watch out, and that's why, as a new player, I'd recommend Safer Seas. You'd avoid a lot of toxicity, you'd avoid the cheaters, and you just have a bit of the issue with hit reg, which is still a problem years on, and so many bugs. But go into the game, start playing Safer Seas, I'd recommend, even as someone who, I'm not a big PvP, but I like PvP. Go into Safer Seas, learn the game, practice the game, understand how to play the game and how it works. And then if you want to drop into the main game, if it's not for you, stay on Safer Seas and keep doing the chill experience. But if you want PvP and that kind of step up, go into the main game. So I would say this game is super worth it, even in 2025, even in the state it's in, and even with the bugs. This game is definitely worth it. It's definitely worthwhile. It's one of my favourite games of all time. It's how I've made my YouTube channel kind of grow to where it is right now. And I will say, as a little side note, I haven't posted in a while, so I'm sorry about that, and I will try and get back to it. I have been very busy and ill, so there is that double whammy. But anyway, Sea of Thieves, 100% worth it. That's my conclusion, 100% worth it. There are bugs, there are glitches, but the experience you'll have with this game, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of fun before it even gets slightly repetitive. Especially if you have friends, it's so much better. But even as a solo player, it's really good. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Sea of Thieves is still worth it in 2025, and it probably will be for a few more years. In my opinion, as long as it wants to be, it's unbelievable. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.